Valuation of intangible assets is important because intangible assets now account for over 87% of all company value. In the case of technology-oriented companies and startups, this proportion is higher still. Intangible assets include items such as software code, data, patents, trade secrets, confidential information, industrial know-how, content, regulatory approvals, and product designs. These items are not just the single largest repository of value for most companies today, they're also the primary driver of company and financial performance, which in turn is the primary driver of company value. Tangible asset valuation is also critical to tax because intangible assets underpin virtually all transfer pricing and purchase price allocation exercises. Tangible asset valuation is challenging for a number of reasons. Firstly, the area is poorly understood, even by some of the most reputable accounting firms, and there's little agreement on standardized approaches. Secondly, it requires a very in-depth understanding of multiple diverse asset classes. These include things like patents, trade secrets, confidential information, know-how, and if you're not familiar with these, it's very hard to value those assets. Third, the international accounting standards such as IFRS and GAAP are not actually particularly useful in this area. Oftentimes they require that the assets are either lumped together under goodwill, or alternatively that they do not make the balance sheet at all, or third, that they are put on at cost. And the one thing you know for certain about an intangible asset is it is never worth cost. Fourth, the assets themselves are not physical, which makes inventory or stock taking of them challenging. Fifth, by definition, intangible assets are more or less unique and differentiated. And that means establishing a benchmark or a comparator is difficult, and there's oftentimes no liquid market to price seek against. The result is that traditional intangible asset valuation approaches tend to produce outcomes that are frequently either inaccurate or bear little resemblance to market reality or the market reality of value. Everidge's approach to the valuation of intangible assets is different. Traditional accounting approaches focus primarily on discounted cash flows or cost bases. The problem with these approaches is that it focuses primarily on the numbers and it doesn't look at two other critical factors that are important to the valuation of intangible assets. And these are the quality of the underlying asset, which can have a huge impact on whether those numbers are actually generated, and finally, contextual or comparative factors. That is, many times intangible assets are worth different things to different people. Everidge uses a three-factor model. So we look at both quantitative, that is numbers-based, which is driven by a variety of different factors. Secondly, we look at the quality of the asset. Is this asset strong or weak? Is it a high-quality asset? Is it a low-quality asset? This is important because this will impact whether or not cash flows, etc., ultimately end up being generated or are sustainable over time. Third, we look at the contextual factors, and these are probably the most important factors. Intangible assets tend to be very much a beauty is in the eye of the beholder asset. It is worth different things to different people. By combining these three different factors together, you arrive at a far more reliable and far more accurate idea of the valuation of the value of a particular asset.